Here we go again. America's about to cave in to the demands of the Ayatollah and his rogue terrorist regime in Iran. The worst deal in the history of diplomacy, the 2015 deal, is about to be repeated. But this time, we won't know about it until it's too late. Why is the Biden administration hiding their negotiations if they're so convinced they'll get a good deal? Let's remember, the last deal guaranteed that Iran would eventually acquire a nuclear weapon in due time. The deal never addressed Iran's development of intercontinental ballistic missiles that could reach the United States of America. The deal supplied them with tens of billions of dollars to finance international terrorism, proxy wars across the Middle East, from Syria to Yemen, Hezbollah, Hamas, you name it. Terrorism all over the world. Let me tell you who the four architects of the worst deal in diplomatic history were back in 2015. Jake Sullivan, Robert O'Malley, Wendy Sherman, and of course the wonderful, number one, John Kerry, who is now embroiled in a he said, she said with Iran's foreign minister, who claims that Kerry betrayed America's ally, Israel. Kerry was giving information that jeopardized our number one ally in the Middle East. Either Kerry is a liar and a traitor, or Zarif is. I believe Zarif, unfortunately. So either Biden should get rid of Kerry or stop negotiating with Zarif. But none of this has happened. Of course, none of it has happened. The same four architects are at it again, about to give us another disastrous deal as they did under Obama in 2015. But this isn't diplomacy, it's appeasement. Clearly, we are literally begging and pleading with Iran, please come back to the table. Come on, we're gonna give you whatever you want, just come back to the table. That is how desperate the American negotiators are. The Biden administration, they just want to go back to this freaking deal. Such appeasement only placates Iran while endangering the state of Israel. Israel has a gun pointed at its head. The Ayatollahs, the leaders of Iran, have repeatedly threatened openly. They don't hide it. It's not a secret that their intention is to eradicate the state of Israel. They have done this so many times. It is Israel more than any other state that wants a good deal to succeed. Doesn't that make sense? I mean, Israel wants a deal. And it's Israel more than any other state that knows what constitutes a good or horrible deal. They get it better than anyone. They're on the front lines. And they have been clear for over a decade. Any deal that allows Iran to eventually produce a nuclear weapon is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. Any deal that allows Iran to develop ballistic missiles is unacceptable. Any deal that supplies Iran with cash and removes sanctions so they can fund their terror activities is unacceptable. What kind of deal is it? How do you shake hands with Iran while they are spreading terrorism all over the world, causing chaos all over the world? I mean, what the hell is wrong with us? What's wrong with American leaders who don't understand this and don't see this? That they trust Iran, that they're not tough. We can't allow this to become about Obama's legacy. We can't allow it to be about taking revenge on President Trump, especially when his decision to pull out of the deal was because everyone knew it was a farce. President Trump wanted a deal. but a deal that made sense, that protected the world, that protected the Middle East. Why is it that all the people that America wants to protect, that the Biden administration wants to protect as a result of this deal, are emphatically against it? Why are they against it if it's such a good deal? Don't they get it better than the people sitting in Washington, D.C.? One doesn't need to be a genius to understand why it's only the Iran nuclear deal that could have brought so many Arab states closer to Israel than ever before. So let's be clear. President Biden, any deal you make with Iran that doesn't address these three main issues will guarantee to make war more inevitable, as it will embolden Iran to be more aggressive and guarantee nuclear proliferation throughout the Middle East, making a regional conflict only a matter of time. Let us not be surprised then when the Biden administration uses sleight of hand to present us with a flawed deal, and when Iran doubles down in its global terrorist activities. That is precisely what is going to happen. America needs to be strong. America needs to be tough. And maybe then we can get a deal that guarantees peace and tranquility in the Middle East. Otherwise, it is a guarantee for future war.